reading is from Jeremiah chapter 33, verses 14 through 16. If you would like to follow along with the Bible in the pew in front of you, it's page 935. The Lord's wonderful promise. The Lord said, I made a wonderful promise to Israel and Judah, and the days are coming when I will keep it. I promise that the time will come when I will appoint a king from the family of David, a king who will be honest and rule with justice. In those days, Judah will be safe. Jerusalem will have peace, and we will be named. The Lord gives justice.
Amen.
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 The season of Advent has themes, and each Sunday when we meet together, we think about these themes. This being the first Sunday of Advent, the theme is hope. For without hope, there really is no future. There are people that live so much into the past that they live as if their life is gone, that there is nothing that can be done, that they will soon die and all will be forgotten. But we are a people of hope because we have God with us always. All we have to is open up our hearts and minds and feel the presence of our ever-loving God. And so, this Sunday we had a reading where God is speaking through the prophet Jeremiah, telling him that in the future things will be different. And he's going to appoint a king coming from the family of David, and that there will be peace and justice throughout the land. And a lot of folks today, especially the negative thinkers, say, well, where's the peace? Well, my favorite way of finding out information is to Google it, right? And if you look at the percentage of the world, of the people that were in warfare in the first century, and you look at today, we are so much more aware of things today because of the fact that we have instant satellite communication so we can see what's going on in Yemen and some of these other places. But guess what? There's a lot fewer people in the percentage of the population actively engaged in warfare today than there was in the first century. I remember growing up in San Pedro. I think that Shirley might know where I'm coming from. And we had little pockets. It wasn't integration. A lot of people thought that, oh, what a wonderful place you have. You have Yugoslavs, and you have Italians, and you have Mexicans, and you have Northern Europeans, and you have African Americans, and they're all living in the same town. Yeah, but in little separate pockets is what they were living in. And my fondest memory was this Yugoslav mother opening up her beautiful, I'll call it a treasury box, beautiful gold jewelry, diamonds and emeralds and rubies, and telling her daughter, now, if you marry a Yugoslav boy, this is yours. You marry an Italian, and she closes the box for you. So you know where you stand. There was so much prejudice when I was growing up. A lot more so than today. Yes, we have our problems today, but it's not as bad as it was when I was growing up. People are meeting each other, they're seeing each other on television, people that they never had come into contact before, and finding out, you know, they're not so bad. They're probably wanting the same things we want. We want a peaceful world. We want our children to grow up healthy and happy. We don't want anybody starving. So we're really in this boat together, aren't we? This boat called the human family of all of the people that God has made, and that's everybody. And the more we think of anybody that we don't know, who might seem a little strange, their practices may be different, maybe their religion is a little different, or the way they do things, God created them, and God makes no junk. Right?
Amen. Right.
Amen.
And so, that we're here today, we are a people of hope. And one of the wonderful stories that I read this last week, I was doing a chaplaincy at Methodist Hospital, and I asked the head chaplain if I could have her latest Guidepost magazine, because she had already read it. So I just swooped it up, and I read the most wonderful story that I really think really fits today. It was about an EMT, you know, a paramedic. It was a woman who started out as a volunteer because she comes from a small town in eastern Colorado. And the person that they were called out to, oh, it was just horrible. This man was a burning victim. And what it was from was a hot tub, if you can believe. He stepped down into the hot tub without testing the water first, and somehow the temperature gauge was wrong, and it literally scalded him. And the skin was really falling off of him. And he was in so much pain. And of course, whoever was there at his home called 911. And you know, they don't get there as fast as they do here because we're in an urban area. And so they called 911. And this woman who was writing the story was there, was able to minister to him. And she said, I know it's going to be hard to believe. I know you're in a lot of pain now, but you are going to be all right. We're taking you to the burn unit at a hospital that just happened to be not that far away. And she explained to him what they would do to him, where they would put like a shower of cold water on him. And she explained the bandages, and she explained the procedures and how they're going to be doing skin grafts. And he's there shaking. She said, I know, because I was there just a year ago. What had happened to her is that they had a horrible fire there in eastern Colorado. And so she was called out, along with a lot of other people, to this fire. They always had to have a paramedic truck available because, again, the fire was raging and we didn't know, you know, they didn't know how many people would need the services. And the fire was only 50 feet away from them. So she literally was going to run out and run for her life. Well, it was kind of a sandy area. One boot fell off on her right foot. And she was really running for her life with one boot, 1 foot, and going kind of like into the sand, so she couldn't run very fast. And so the flames came up over the truck, and she could feel her clothes literally burning off her body, and her foot on fire from the hot sand that was underneath. And she thought, Lord, if you're going to take me now. Because fire is very, very painful. And so, from out of nowhere, her brother-in-law, who was a firefighter, somehow got a hose and hosed her down. But of course, there was a lot of damage. He saved her life. They were able to get her to the burn unit. But lots of things had happened to her. One thing that happened is that she was in the hospital for, I think, about 8 weeks, and then in a rehab place, because it took a long time for her to heal. They had to amputate the toes off of her right foot. And you think, life is hopeless. Don't have the toes on your foot. You can't run or do anything. Well, you know now they have all kinds of how do you pronounce that? Stuff. Yeah. Put on your toes. And so what happened is that a year later she was able to go back. And that is when she got that call for that man who fell into scalding water, she was able to minister to him. And the thing that's so important is that when you are with somebody who's really facing something really horrific, it could be a problem that they have. It could be an illness. If you also had that problem or that illness, you can make so much difference in their lives because you've been there. You've experienced it. I have said, to some friends of mine who have had problems with alcohol and drugs, can you imagine a teetotaler being an alcoholic counselor? I mean, what do you know? I mean, you've never been there. You've never experienced it. You can't really relate. I invite all of you to be the ministers to people who have suffered some of the same kinds of problems you've suffered. It could be immigration problems. We've had a lot of that around here, right? It could be drug and alcohol abuse. It could be a case of having had burns, or having had cancer, or maybe having a stent put into your body, and you can explain it to the person who's now facing it. There's just innumerable things that all of us have experienced in our lives that we can minister to others who are now just experiencing them for the first time. And we will make such a difference because of the fact that we also have had them, and we can now relate to them and give them that sense of hope that you never have to give up, that God is with them and with you, and that as we celebrate this first Sunday of Advent, we know that hope is there for each and every one of us to receive and to extend a helping hand to others. Amen.
Amen.